Turn 7 then, and reinforcements have arrived. So we got some more reinforcements, which is good. Prussians moved along the road a little bit, so good job we've got some squares out ready for them. Leave those guys there. Bring them forward. Wanted them up into the woods just to be sure. And I forgot I wanted to get some skirmishers out. But skirmishers against cavalry, not much good at all. I'll get some more. We need to sort of come down here to the south a little bit. Maybe pull them south. We've got a battery. Get them in a square when we can. Good. Supply wagon can go into the town, into Hassenhausen. Get these guys up and get my 2 new divisions in. Freelance division, nice. And Barboniere Negri, get him in as well. What I will mention, because we're flying through these turns, not really saying much, is a common question I get asked is where do I get my mods from and how do my game look different to everyone else's. So the truth is, I use loads of different people's mods. There's some really good ones about, and I mod myself. I just play around, and I don't like NATO. Well, I do like NATO counters for sort of World War II games and modern games, but for Age of Napoleon, I don't really like them. So I changed my 2D counters. They are mine. This map here. I really like old maps like Alison's map of Europe or Esposito's maps and stuff like that. And it's a large scale map. Wanted it to look like an old map as much as possible. So I did that. Well, I did the terrain, but I didn't do the trees, for example. So I take bits of other people's mods and just basically I've got some bespoke games. I try to make every game look slightly different. Unit boxes, for example. I did the unit box, but I didn't do the actual physical portraits of the units. Where's an officer? Get Davoo or something. I did these boxes again, but I didn't do the portraits of the units. This terrain, I put some field terrain. I did the houses, but then used somebody else's fields, so it's very much bespoke. And the reason I don't really release it, I will release everything that I've done solely me, is because I can't take credit for stuff, and I've got just a hodgepodge. Real mess, a real mix of different mods that I've done, that other people have done. I've changed other people's and it's just a real big mix, okay? But the thing is though, don't forget that all the map titles are getting an upgrade soon, with hand-drawn maps and a la Waterloo style, so the likes of all this is going to be pretty much redundant. Anyway, well, the terrain anyway, the unit boxes and stuff that I've done, and the sidebar, I haven't done a horizontal one, but I can do one, it's not too bad. I'll release all that eventually, but it's not, my mods aren't up to the standard as some of the other guys, they really put time and effort in, get it perfect, whereas mine might not be perfect, it's certainly not up to a professional standard, but have that in mind. I don't mind giving away, it's all the stuff that I've done. So eventually I will post a link on my Facebook page when I gathered it all up and I've made sure it doesn't look absolutely rubbish. So on that note, I think we're pretty much done. We've got some reinforcements coming, so Keister, careful, he's arrived and he's got another 1800 troops. Every man is going to count in this one, that is for sure. So there we go. Let's hope this cavalry stays where it is. I think I might just withdraw my Chasseurs Chevals a little bit again, just because they're going to get murdered by his cavalry if I'm not careful. I think my plan with them, do I want them to protect my flank? Do I at the moment, yeah, until I get troops there, and then keep them out the way. Maybe bring them down here just to keep a watchful eye. I've got some cavalry coming later on, but I don't think I've got a lot of cavalry coming later on. Let's have a look who actually is coming into the frame. So everyone's coming from here, yeah. I do think there's some cavalry. I hope there's some cavalry coming. Some heavies would be nice. Everybody's with Napoleon at Jena, that's the problem. We've only got Davoo and what he had on the day. All the best troops are elsewhere on the day. Right, I'll get that sent over and see what he comes back with. Already on turn 8, they're flying through this one, which is good. Compared to Eylau, it's a short, sharp game, which I'm happy about. Only thing that he did, we got some heavy cavalry just sort of crept forward there. I'm not going to put skirmishers out from my squares just because if he's got cavalry coming, they're going to get devoured. There's no point. What I want to do though is set up my artillery ready for... I actually am going to just bring them forward. Bring my Chateau Chevals back a little bit. So you're going to start operating in 2 squadrons, I think, just in case. Give them a bit more chance, otherwise they're sort of easy pickings for heavy cavalry. Turn them around. So remember, it's always about facings. You've got to be facing the enemy, otherwise if you're facing away from them, they're going to hit you in the rear and you're going to get a penalty. Make sure you don't use all your movement points unless you can be sure that they're not going to be able to follow up. So you've got a square there. I think square is very much the order of the day until his infantry come up. Let me think now. Get another supply wagon down this end. Just a little bit sceptical here. I maybe could have put 1 or 2 more units. I'll put some skirmishers out there just to give me some warning in the fields. I don't have a lot up here. Not yet anyway. I think 3-ounce division, when he gets here, he's going to go straight up to the north. You come in, we've got you, and we've got some more reinforcements. So everybody's trickling in slowly but surely. Still don't have the numbers here. Well, I'll never have the numbers here, I'll remember. So here we got Vialan. Vialan, you can come down. Cavalry. Cavalry. Now, what's down here? Well, we've got a river, the River Sal. Doesn't look like there's any victory points. No, I'm going to mass my cavalry, I think, over here somewhere, just in case there's a breakthrough out in the open. That's good, nice open ground. Yeah, no fields for them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring them down along the main road with everyone else. That's okay, that's all they can go. And then I'm going to mass all my cavalry up here, maybe on this high ground or something, just in case of a breakthrough. Plan B maybe would to split my cavalry and have some up in the north in case of the same reason, but they're not heavies, they're Chasseurs Chevals, aren't they? Yeah, and the sea, they're just armed with swords, so yeah, better to have concentration in force, I think, for this one. It's one that I do not want to be spread out. I've got to keep everybody together quite compact. That's my best chance. If I have a long old line, more chance of breaking it somewhere, enveloping me. So yeah, I'm going to mass everything together as much as possible. Have a lot of squares around here. Just think of the movie Waterloo. Yeah, when they charge, that's the kind of what I'm going for here. Yeah, so I'll send that off and we'll see if this cavalry is going to cause us problems. Turn 9 then, and we've got some big news. Well, we've got the news that we didn't really want. We can start to see things. Visibility's gone up to 48 hexes, 9 o'clock in the morning, and lo and behold, cavalry. Cavalry. It's Ayla all over again. These poor skirmishers, they got hit by 1, 2, 3, 3 squadrons, and they got pushed back. So we're going to have to sort out up here quite sharpish. Now I know if I move these guys up, they're not going to be able to go into square, but we'll get a little bit of protection from these guys. Have we got enough to go into square? I don't think we do. No, so we'll move them up there, straight up there. We don't have any artillery up there, but it's coming slowly. Do I move 1 battery up there? No, I'm going to protect my centre, and hopefully 2 batteries here will be able to sort out, because we've got, look at all this, 200s, 200s, 200s. Behind them there's more cavalry, and over here, cavalry up here. We've got some infantry, and this big old stack of leaders there. 800, big old Prussian units at this time of the war. See over there, he's got some artillery coming, so he is on the march. Yeah, yeah. It's a bit of a thinker, this one. I really am going to just have to hope for the best. Luckily, I've got big old regiments as well. Or battalions, 900,000 men, give or take. All about squares, as I said before. All about squares. Get these chasseurs chevals out of the way. Up on this high ground. And hopefully if somebody breaks through, then they'll be able to do something. But that's about all I can do. Who's coming down? So I will make a square there. What else have I got? We'll bring that supply wagon down for there. Skirmishers, you can get well out of the way and come right back to your parent unit, otherwise you're going to get hammered. Free arm, as I said, you're going to go straight up to the north, but you'd be better going on the road, you'll cover more ground. Okay, nice. And you, alright. Kinda could do with some more guns, to be honest. Okay, cavalry, that's nice to have cavalry, but it's not really what I need at the moment. I need guns. We can start some combat here as well. We did unlimber this battery last time. Who we got? Dragoons, heavies, heavies. Let's go for all the heavies. Okay, 16 is not the end of the world, and if this horse artillery can hit them as well. Better than nothing. Better than nothing. Did it say we got reinforcements? I don't want to press that button yet. Now, optional rules wise, again, another question people ask me is, what do I normally play with? I don't normally play with manual defensive fire. I've just never really liked phases. The trouble is that when we do it like this, or sort of autonomous phases, if you like, you get an awful lot of unrealistic, I think, opportunity fire. But to save time, I usually, well, pretty much always play without phases. Victory points for leader casualties goes without saying. We need to get some points, as I've covered in my Waterloo video before. The two that are different from there are this optional fire results and optional melee results, and I think it's more realistic without them checked. I used to think basically the dice roll, if you have two dice, it can be from one extreme to the other for fire and melee, and if you've got them selected, it tends to be more mid-range, takes an average of the two dice, whereas you can get some extremes on this one. And those that watched the ALAW video, you saw some charges that you think, oh, how on earth did that happen? How did you lose that? But then other ones that, how did you win that? That's because of these two rules not being selected. Multiple cavalry melees, yep, if they're good to go again. However, I've got it selected, but if they automatically disorder, then we don't attack with them again. These two column pass through fire and target density modifier. That's when your units are all stacked up in a single hex. Those cannonballs are going to wreak havoc, and it tries to stop people almost blitzing you with 1800 units in one hex, 1800 infantry in one hex. What else we got? No opportunity fire against skirmishers. They were fast, they were nimble, they ducked behind cover and things like that. So we do play with no opportunity fire against skirmishers. Isolation rules, route limiting, so if one unit routes, it might not spread so much. Certainly Waterloo, the modern one, with that unselected, the routing is very heavy, I think, maybe a little bit too heavy, but we will limit that just so that we don't have a mass rout. And yeah, so that's the rules I play with, and that's about all I can do on this turn. We might as well fire with the skirmishers just because we can. Not that it's going to make much difference to anything. And the square can fire as well. Oof, right. This is going to be a hard battle, I think. It really is. All that cavalry, he's gone on the flank already. A bit weak there. Let's see what he comes up with. Who have we got? Aha! Just what I wanted. Some horse artillery, batteries, 6 guns and some supplies. Perfect. Now what I want to do is get the batteries to the front, just to make sure they are the first to arrive. They can get stuck behind infantry. Now when I fast move, if you hold down the Alt key and right click, it just moves everybody in that stack, but it will go with the lowest common denominator. So if you've got some disordered units in there, they'll only move as far as the disordered units. So that horse artillery got most movement points, get right to the front, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they're going to arrive before everyone else. There we go. Right, what are we on? Turn 10 already. Definitely the last one for tonight. This is a real thinker, this battle. Luckily, that's not the correct word, this cavalry here attacked this column here and came off worse, and more to the point, they didn't disrupt. So they're going straight into square. They're going to get a little bit of payback. As are this square. Sorry, right from the off, I'm just going to attack. You come over there, get into square. Skirmishers back to your parent units. You can fire on them as well. Overall situation then. Cavalry, 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 cavalry. More troops on the march. Sort of seeing them piecemeal. He moved some infantry forward from Talgwitz. And yeah. We had a few opportunity fire on his cavalry, because it looks like he's shifting everything north. All his cavalry are going north. Infantry come along the road. And I've got very, very, well, almost non-existent right flank. So straight up to these fields with Barb and Agra. And Friant as well. Straight up there. Everybody up there. That horse artillery, when it comes, is going to get up there. I'm just going to have to rely on squares. I've got to keep this road open at all costs. If everybody's arriving here and it's closed off, I'm going to have to break through. So, to that end, I possibly will break my cavalry here. I need to break them into squadrons. I might break them off just to act as a little bit of a rear guard, sort of around Punchral, just in case they do break through. Buy myself at least a little bit of time, even if I've got to sacrifice them, I've got to keep this road open. Otherwise, everyone will be cut off, and that'll be even harder. So, to that end, I'm going to pump everybody up there. I'm going to bring these guys into the centre, just in case they're needed here. They can always nip either direction next turn. My cavalry I'm going to split into squadrons, as I said, and bring them over in this direction. They're already in a squadron, so we'll bring them over there. They can go to squadrons. Quite small squadrons, but I think you do get a bonus for squadrons. I'm not entirely sure. I think you do. I would say you do. Where are we? Put them into smaller squadrons as well. And these chaps. And these chaps. You can certainly use them more realistically in squadrons. You know, you can split a squadron. If there's, let's say, somebody here to attack in this hex, you can split them. One goes left, one goes right. If you've got a whole big one stack of regiment, then you're going to hit that, and if they disrupt, that's the whole regiment gone. Cavalry didn't operate in regiments, and if they did, they'd still be in squadrons, if that makes sense, within that hex. So if you had here 500 cavalry in one big unit, in your head you'd have to break it down, or in that formation they would have squadrons. That's my take on it, that's my opinion on it, that's how I play. Don't tend to play with big old regiments. Horse artillery will get that down as quickly as possible. Up to the north, these guys here straight into it, and we could have some artillery fire from here. What? 1153. Yeah, I think that'll be enough for 18 turns, so we will. Who are they? Heavies. Definitely have a crack at the heavies. Absolute drop in the ocean for his numbers. You know, we need some big salvos. We need to hit home with some big salvos. Now, no, Davu's fine where he is. Right, that's the situation. Already, I know the turns have been quick. I'm not in danger of being encircled, but I can certainly see his plan. He's got all of that cavalry. And there might be some hidden by trees, hidden by other stacks. Yeah, and they're all sort of hundreds and 200s. Oh, crikey. Yeah, this is going to be a hard one. This is going to be a difficult one.